Hello friends, welcome to State of the Stash 31 for May of 2025. If you are unfamiliar with my State of the Stash series, this is where I talk about all the yarn that came in and out of my stash in the month of May, and also as a comparison to the entire year, in the effort to use more yarn than I bring into my stash. Each month that's a struggle, and sometimes I do better than others. So let's see how May was. Before I get started showing you any projects, let me just say that if you look right down below there, click the More button, you will see links to everywhere that you can find me. That includes Instagram, Ravelry, and links to specific Ravelry projects. I also link any dyers, wool suppliers, yarn suppliers that I talk about. So if you still have questions or you're not finding what you're looking for, please leave me a comment or send me a message and I'm happy to answer you. All right, let's see here. So for the month of May, I started out really well. I finished this large Skrabucket. This is a pattern by Teresa Liu, and it is a knitted project bag. This has been washed and blocked. I can't remember if the last time I showed it on my podcast, if it had been, but it is now. And this is what it looks like when it's not folded in on itself. It looks very much like a muscle burrow hat, if you're familiar with that, with some welts sewn on and these I-cord drawstrings. So that being said, you can have either side as your outside of the project. So this is one of my sides, and that is the other option. This used 211 grams out of my stash, and for this I held fingering weight double. I held one opal mini, little leftovers, and one teeny tiny mini, usually the leftover from a 5-gram mini that I put into my Cozy Memories blanket. So this was a fabulous stash buster, lots of teeny tiny scraps. There's nothing too small that you cannot use in this. I chose to do magic knots, and I don't know if you'll be able to see them. There's one right there. I used fray check on my knots to try to make sure that they don't come undone. Okay, that was the first yarn out of my stash, and then I received an acquisition. These, I'll try not to be too loud. These here are my May Cuddle Bums minis, and I am not working on May yet. I'm still working my way through the April minis. So those came into my stash. That was 155 grams in. Then I finished a pressed flowers hat. This is my third finished pressed flowers hat, but the first for the month of May. And this used 48 grams out of my stash. Then I had more yarn come into my stash. And you know what, actually, hold on here, because I organized my yarn inbox and then I still forgot to put it up there. So let me grab it for you. There we go. I haven't had that in the last couple episodes and I just keep forgetting. It's always here. It's just putting it up there where I want it to be. So yes, yarn into stash. It's a big one. I bought 10 skeins of this. It's kind of hard to see. This is my very first order ever from the company Skeins. Skeins is out of New Zealand, and if you go to their website, don't be sticker shocked, because the New Zealand dollar to the US dollar, we actually come out pretty well ahead, I would say. So it will look like it's more money than it actually is. That being said, shipping isn't cheap, but when you count in the cost of shipping to the yarn, it still came out not bad at all. So again, this is the DK weight line called Poppy, and the color is called Samphire. This is a 100% merino wool and 104 meters in 50 grams. So again, I have 10 of those. That was 500 grams into stash. And the other yarn, also 10 balls, 50-gram balls. These are DK weight. And I'll just grab a couple because they all look so different. This, believe it or not, they're all the same colorway. This is Pulse. And again, it's a DK weight. The color is called Flutter. And this is a spin cycle-esque looking yarn. So like I said, all these are technically the same color, but they are, I don't know, spun, or maybe they're spun in the wool like Spin Cycle is, but it looks very much like a hand spun yarn. So that was 500 grams of this, total of 1,000 grams for both. But can you imagine what these two might be? Any guesses? Does it look a lot like this? I think it does. My goal for these is to do the pressed flower pullover, which is kind of a sweatshirt looking sweater. And I just couldn't resist this beautiful green, kind of like grass or leaves, and this beautiful color here. So I think that is going to be such a nice project, and I'm hoping to get it on the needles later this year. If you couldn't tell, I am obsessed with the pressed flowers pattern. I absolutely love it. So let's see. Can we get this all? I don't know if this is going to fit in here. It probably means I should stop buying yarn. If I want to meet my goals, I really need to stop buying yarn. There we go. It just fits. Just barely. Okay. Now on to another finished object. I finished another pressed flowers hat. This is pressed flowers hat number 4, and this used 45 grams. Isn't it so interesting? You can knit a pattern exactly the same as another one, because this is my 4th one, and it seems like each hat uses just slightly bit different amounts of yarn. I'm sure that probably has something to do with maybe the yarn varies slightly, especially like the hand spun type yarn might. And I don't know, maybe my gauge just changes. And I finished another thing. These are the Follow Your Path socks by Kayla Litton, the Crazy Sock Lady, in the Desert Vista Dye Works color Care Zombody Bear. The finished pair took 79 grams of yarn. And then I finished a very big project. It is my secret knitting project that I haven't been able to show you yet, but it's using these yarns here. The gray is in the back, but I have a better representation of a photo. The photo shows one side is where I started, how much yarn I had, and then the second photo, or the photo to the right, is how much yarn I have left after completing the project. That used a total of 461 grams. And eventually I will be able to show you this project, and I think it won't be too much longer now. I'll be able to reveal what this yarn became. Okay, then I had kind of an exciting thing. Actually, I can see, you've been able to see it. If you are new here, you have not seen this, but if you have been here for a while, you've seen my advent calendar. And this is a wooden advent calendar I got off of Amazon years ago, and I've been using it over and over again. The last couple years I have made my own advents to put in here, and this year was no exception. This year I bought 24, is that right? 25. Nope, I think it was 25 6-gram minis from a company called Aberdeen Wool, and they have a pretty cool option. You can get minis, a 25 pack, 40 pack, 100 pack, 200, up to 1,000. You can get 1,000 minis. The nice thing about the 25 pack is that there were no repeats. I think when you go above the 25 mark, you will get some repeats. So that being said, I will pop in a black and white photo of what those minis look like. They were all variegated, and I really liked the color combinations that they had. There were none that I was like, oh, that is not good. That being said, I do like my Cuddle Bums better, but these were quite nice, and I am looking forward to adding a square every day into my Cozy Memories blanket in December. And actually, I think I'll be adding 2 squares every day, 1 Cuddle Bum and 1 of the Aberdeen Wool, if everything goes according to plan. So that was 150 grams into stash. And finally, my very last finished object for the month of May, another Pressed Flowers hat. This is Pressed Flowers hat number 5. It is my final Pressed Flowers hat for now. So yes, just to prove I did not show you the same hat 3 times. There we go. So I'm very happy with these. The 5th and final one used 46 grams. So yeah, 48, 45, and 46 were the numbers. So pretty close. Very happy to have these done. That is it. That is all the yarn that came into my stash and that went out in the manner of finished objects. So we had 1,305 grams into stash and 890 grams out of stash for a difference of positive 415 grams, or roughly 4 skeins in. Considering I brought 1,000 grams in, I think I'm doing pretty good. That being said, let's see how we are looking for the year. For the first 5 months of 2025, I am up 1,007 grams. So essentially, had I not bought these 1,000 grams right here, I would be up +7. How crazy is that? I'm like, well, I'm not almost breaking even because I bought yarn, but I would almost be breaking even. And that is making me so motivated. That being said, in the back of my mind, I know that Advent is going to completely destroy my yarn in, yarn out numbers. December, or I guess is it November? November is probably when all the yarn will come in. That month is just going to be a standalone month, I think. I would like to, first of all, of course I would like ultimately at the end of the year to use more yarn than comes in. But if I can take 11 months out of the year and be overall behind, that would be great. I don't know what's going to happen though. We still have 7 months to go this year, which is crazy. I can't believe it's already been over 5 months. Let's see. I do have some other numbers for you because in addition to tracking my grams in and grams out for every project and every yarn that comes into my stash, I also have my Ravelry stash spreadsheet that I download every month. And what that told me was that in April, I ended with 1,171 skeins of yarn in my stash. By the end of May, I had 1,180, so +9 skeins. And it's right there. You can see it all. For grams, April, I ended with 89,877, or 198 pounds. And by the end of May, I had 90,421 grams, which is 199 pounds, which is a difference of +544 grams. Lastly, for yards, April, I ended with 372,708. Holy cow. May, I ended with 373,010 for a difference of positive 302 yards. So it wasn't the worst month. I did have a lot come in. That order from Skeins, I'll be honest with you, I didn't need to buy it for sure, but I had been looking at that Pulse yarn for years, literally years, and they had a 10-pack discount price, bulk, kind of like a bulk order thing. And I just finally gave in, finally made my first order. And I'm super excited to have yarn to make the pressed flowers pullover. Very excited. So could you imagine wearing a pullover and a hat? Just being, and I could make socks too. I could just be one entire flower. I wouldn't do that, but it would be funny. All right, I'm losing my voice. I think it's time to go. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you watching and following me in my journey to try and get some of this yarn out of my stash. I'm working real hard. I would love to know how you're doing with your stash goals. If you are stashing up, stashing down, or just trying to stay neutral, kind of like I am. I would love to hear about it. Let me know down below. I will talk to you next time. Bye.